All right. This here's Captainess's log. The Captainess. The Captain in Tennille. Yeah, what's... It could be that see, the girl is Tennille. The captain is in that. This is an old 70s fucking band. All right, it's called the Captain in Tennille. All right, the captain represents the king energy or the boy energy, and the girl was of course named Tennille. More than likely radio remote controlled for that to happen. They were already programmed to rise up in the community as singers, become popular, so that title could be spread worldwide subconsciously to let all the peasants know. Kneel to the fucking king, fucker. Okay, that's right to the girl energy. Okay, these are evidence things that I chalk up on the whiteboard as a private investigator. I think far, far long and wide beyond all the impossible shit to see what's possibly going on around here. Bunch of time traveling shit going on. Seeing who's coming up that's gonna block the king energy from ruling every fucking thing, or whatever side, the war energy, king energy, whatever the fuck. And then of course going back into time and then setting up roadblocks to stop it from happening. All kinds of different things going on throughout the town, throughout the whole system, from the way everything is named, also including the way everything is named for subliminal, subconscious programming at a double layer, because that's just one layer to program the subconscious. From another level, there is a signal, an electronic signal being sent constantly into the brain to bow down to that subconscious programming that's programmed on the outside, because things come from the outside and then they come from within too. Both sides, double bombardment. So anyway, so that's that. The captain in Tennille. So the captainess, this is the captainess's log. This ain't the fucking captain's log. This is the girl energy log, the mother energy. Okay, dealing with the bully that's inside of me and outside of me. Yeah, the bully that's, that's sending electronic signals into the brain. MK Ultra, Marilyn Monroe, Monarch Butterfly, CIA, FBI, fucking electronic. This is all electronic surveillance shit. Okay, everything that's electronics, these power companies, these power lines, the radio whip antennas, everything, radio remote control, this is all electricity energy, which is different from magnetic energy. Okay, magnetic energy is the girl energy that pulls in. It pulls in. That's what magnetism does, it pulls in. Now electricity, you go touch 220 volts, it's gonna fucking push you away, shoot you right across the fucking room. That's the difference between the king energy and the queen energy. The queen energy is the affectionate energy that pulls in for the hug. The king energy is the push away energy that fucking is ready to war. What the fuck? What are you looking at me like that? You looking at me kind of funny, fucker. Huh? What the fuck you twiddling a little dance like that? Were you making fun of me? Huh? This is the this is the insecure fucker on the abusive side now. On the abusive side, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I'm not saying that the king energy isn't always a bad thing. The war energy has a good side. But when it gets stuck on an abusive part, and look around society, it's been stuck like this for a long fucking time now. It's what the fuck are you looking at? What are you dancing that little dance for? What are you talking that little talk for? You making fun of me? Huh? You little fuck shit? You making fun of me? Huh? I think you're making fun of me. What do you think of that? That'll teach your ass to dance around like that around me. Or around the whole fucking town, huh? You get your fucking ass out of the fucking state, you fuck ass. You see how you fare in another state. I'll call my guard over in the other state where you go to and see till you get another ass beating. You keep pulling that shit around us. We got a little fucking conundrum going on around here, you little fuck. Okay, now this is the king. Now this is Hollywood acting, folks. All that was just coming at me for the last 2 minutes, right? It's all Hollywood acting. It's acting out what the abuser is like. That's all it is. It's just acting out here in the backyard what the abuser is like. Though someone walking down the bike path could hear this coming out of the backyard and think, oh my God, this guy has just lost his fucking mind. He's gone mental. We need to call the hospital and call the guards and put him on a bed, strap him down, inject him with some type of whatever the spider's poison, right? All because they're running with a story that they put their little story to it. And oh my God, this is what it is. They've totally misinterpreted the whole, totally just missed it. They're catching part of what's going on and running with it. Now they're writing books and selling them on shelves. And now all the people in the schools are reading these books thinking this is the way society has to run. All because someone was in the backyard or on the street or where the fuck they are, acting out the assessment, sharing information, what they see going on in the community, in the universe, in existence, just sharing it out. Someone comes along and catches it halfway into the story and runs with it and thinks, oh my God, this is the way this fucker's acting is gonna ruin the whole fucking universe. We need to put a stop to this. Okay, now this is the childishness. That's childishness right there. Pure childishness. That's what fake media is. They catch something halfway and then they go through town running with a story. And now someone's written a book on it. Now they're teaching it in the public school and the university. Because they caught someone sharing something where they're at, and then they started acting out in the story. They started acting out the part in the story of the bully in the story. The story that's being shared, you know, in this case, it's acting out what a abusive king is like. The abusive king energy. Now, it goes both ways, folks. The abusive queen energy is just as warrior. It's equally as warrior and abusive. It goes both ways. And if I was just to get stuck on it, say, no, it's only the king energy, then common sense would tell me, okay, now I need a little adjustment here. Now I'm being abusive and one-sided and locked into one story. It goes both fucking ways. This is the evidence that I share. It goes both ways. And when I study history and look at history and all that shit, I start saying, okay, there's matriarchal societies, then it goes patriarchal society. Goes back to matriarchal society, then patriarchal. And both sides have proven themselves to be fucking stuck in the mud, abusive children, warrior fucks, actors. So there's the word, acting like it. Now, if someone walking down the bike path would have heard me say that, and then they got way down there and they didn't hear the constitutional amendment to the story, actors, they would have ran with that story and go printed it in the fake media. Oh, this guy says, such and such says that both of them are fucked up. All the queen and the king are fucked up, period. And they missed the rest of the story, which was, no, acting like it. But they were already 2 miles down the road when the word acting came out to add more emphasis to the story and perspective from a higher mountaintop view that sees every fucking thing as the story's being told. And each subject gets cycled and comes back around to keep a perspective. But someone comes along, they catch the part of the story, part, and they run with it like a herald. And then they're printing it in newspapers. They're learning how to, they've learned, this is the caveman. He's learned how to shape a rock into an axe. Now the axe is a machine. Now the machine is now a news printer. Now the news printer is now controlling society. with its story that all started with a caveman that's playing around with a rock that caught a story that another caveman or cave girl was telling out in the forest. He ran with it. All right? Ran with it. Caught the story halfway and ran with it. With no full perspective. No full perspective. Okay? Now I am saying that acting like this abusively, and the whole society, when I look around, the whole society is right now, irregardless if it's patriarchal or matriarchal, irregardless, when I look around, this is what I see going on. Stuck in the mud with this abusive existence that's being taught out of the universities. Because they're the ones that control every fucking thing. Those are the Jesuits. That leads right to the Vatican. And I'm not talking about the front Jesuits with their vow of poverty, chastity, and all that. I'm talking about the black Jesuits. Those are the blood oath, fourth vow, blood oath Jesuits. That is the Vatican military Jesuits. The black Pope, the Jesuit general. All right? Now this has been grooming now for centuries and centuries. Right? And the black pope controls the white pope. And I know this pretty much head on because there's plenty of YouTube videos that give evidence to support the big could be. I'm not saying that it is. I'm not getting locked into it. I'm just saying the big could be. And there's more evidence on the whiteboard as a private investigator when it's being written down, and I look at all the evidence, just superseding evidence. When I look around and see what's going on, looking around without having to include the I, just saying looking around, or actually that would be looking around, because looking around, okay, that's the subconscious dictionary word that's programming the subconscious to celebrate subconsciously without even realizing it, being conscious to it, societally programming to celebrate the king energy. And it's not celebrating the king energy to celebrate the abusive part to the king energy. That would be the acting energy. The abusing actor energy, which is the Zeus electronic energy. That's the push away warrior. What the fuck you looking at energy? You better not be looking at you. Always looking at the girl and say, "What, you making fun of me? You making fun of me? Huh? You making fun of me? Huh, girl? Huh, wife? You making fun of me?" And I'm not saying that it's a husband who's speaking to a wife. It goes both ways, because the yin and the yang energy is in both a man and a woman. Goes both ways. And in the abusive area, it is the woman warrior that's ruling society now, the gay warrior abusive woman that I see, or that is seen. There I went with that I. And so more so, it's coming out of the gay bull dike. That's the federal Bonneville bull dike. A dike is a dam that dams up the yin energy because it's having a very hard time with the mother that comes along and be's a mother. When the fit throwing little fucker, king, electronic Zeus, push everything around energy wants to have its way. That's normal. That's how a child is born, normally. Push around, I'm gonna have my own fucking way. When it gets to the abusive part. Not all children are like this. So there's the amendment that happens, a delayed effect. But if someone would have heard that part way, they would have ran with it, wrote books, and now they started organizations, raised up armies to go against the speech, the story that's being spoken here in the backyard. The whole fucking world, nothing but a big fucking army that's been raised up by the bully warrior bull dyke hospital child thieving, don't like children expressing themselves, don't like it. That's the mother that went gay in the society. And she created these hospitals. And there's a whole story on why the hospitals were created, to steal the creditor position. when the whole fucking universe went fucking bankrupt because of this childish bully that fucking just overtake the whole fucking universe. The bully was allowed to, though. And then the mother energy just sat back and has been sitting back and letting the little child, Wonder Woman, bully, Bull Dyke, that has learned, just like the man has learned, to hide behind the men. So all the men are in the front, because that's all you see in the Vatican. It's all men. But I'm telling you, from the evidence I've seen, it's the Bull Dyke gay woman that doesn't like children expressing themselves that went gay, and that's the reason why she went gay. Looking back at the generational history curve, it's a Bull Dyke Bonneville dam that dams up all the chakras in the girl energy. And she's coming from the warrior man king energy. There is a woman, a gay woman, running all those men in the Vatican that you see out in the front. I'll go so far as to say that is more than likely a guarantee from all the evidence seen. But I'm not locked into it, though. I'm just pretty much onto it. Well, without saying I'm. It just seems very apparent. It seems very apparent. Very apparent. So, here it is, 16 minutes into this video. Or audit. Audit expression. 16 minutes into it. As the queen energy out in the backyard, all right, expressing amongst all this ice storm. More than likely it was a weather controlled event. More than likely. Although it could be just a mere reflection. It could be. But when I look at all the evidence going on, it seems to be more so legally leaning toward the legal eagle that's in vulture's clothing, that's pressing electronic warfare, quiet wars for, silent weapons for quiet wars. There was a book written on this. It's an article on Google search, written through Hartford Van Dyke. Silent weapons for quiet wars. That introduces the idea that there's high-level Vatican military, gay, Bull Dyke, lesbian, that's controlling all the men and the military behind the scenes. All right? That's the abusive warrior. That's controlling the weather control going on across the globe. And not just across the globe, this goes high into the extraterrestrial levels, folks. The universal Bull Dyke, gay, lesbian, death-celebrating warrior woman. Yeah, the girl energy that is predominant with the male energy. It is the girl predominant with the warrior energy, the electronic king energy. That's the Zeus energy. That's the one that when you read the old ancient history books of Hesiod, Apollodorus, and there's a couple other ones, those are the ones that slayed the dragon slayers. And the greatest dragon that came along in history was Typhon, which was struck by Zeus's lightning bolt. When you read the old ancient stories. And this gets all into the giants. There used to be giants that walked the fucking earth. Humongous fucking giants. Okay, this gets all into the history, which the gay, Bull Dyke, lesbian, hospital, Bonneville Federal Control Dam, damming up the information, damming up the history from all the generations and generations and generations. When you start studying biology, And you can go on YouTube and you can look up this one guy called Mud Fossil University, who is a high level scientist. This fucker is high level. And he is showing evidence that is so fucking overwhelming that even Yale University has agreed with much of his stuff, but is still having a hard time with it because the girl energy is rising and coming forth and sharing what all this earth and all these mountains, it's all dead fucking bodies from giants. Humongous. There used to be humongous fucking giants walk the fucking earth. And Jupiter, the planet Jupiter, gave birth to the planet Zeus. And when it came out, it slammed across the planet Earth, but it didn't hit it. It actually hit Mars. But when it zoomed across the planet Earth, it caused a worldwide flood. And it was a boiling water flood. And with the scientific evidence, when this brother is showing the evidence, it is the boiling water that disintegrated all the skin off the bodies, which is called silica. Silica, yeah? And silica happens to be the astrology Jesus representation for planet Jupiter. Silica. Okay, all these little rocks that you see all over the ground, they're nothing but the skin balls, because the skin stretches and it flexes. So all the rocks you see, from great boulders to small little pebbles, those are all skin balls. Those are connectors to the skin that allows the skin to stay on the muscle, and it stretches when you start putting it all under the microscope. But this is all high level technology stuff that's been hidden from the people, folks. But anyway, this is just another subject to get down. When I start talking about the Bonneville Dam, the hospitals, the King Energy, Zeus, the lightning bolt, the power companies, the abusive energy, the acting energy, the abusive actor, that's a wonderful child that's just been going around acting abusive. You know, everybody sits, there's a lot of people that sit in theaters and watch Hollywood movies, and they are just enamored. All the emotions are just being stimulated, and all the highs and the lows, and they come out and they say, God, that was a great movie. Well, why is that? Because all the emotions were stimulated, their feelings, the blood was rushing, boners were being popped, tits were being sucked, and all kinds of shit that goes on in the movies. Stuff was being explosive, and it gets exciting, and then there's tender moments where everything's affectionate, and it's like, oh, all these emotions going in and out, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Hollywood movies, acting. Everybody is sitting in front of a television on Christmas or the holidays, or with friends on the weekend, or to go gather in theaters, and everyone just loves being around together in that atmosphere, feeling all those emotions, ins and out, the ups and downs, with acting. And I'm not saying that acting is all a bad thing. It's just that when it gets on the abusive side and it's stuck in the mud with it, now there's a whole society that's going around acting like the bully in the Hollywood movie. Predominantly looking around with the button pusher that controls weather, silent wars, silent weapons for quiet wars, people going around exposing and auditing what's going on at high level military levels, coming out of the Vatican, controlling armies that report to ET, some extraterrestrial in outer space, could be. I'm not locked into it. I'm just saying that the evidence points to it more so. Well, without having to say I and all that shit. That knows how to electronically control the human body and cause things to happen when the average human would think, no, I'm in complete control of everything I got going on right now. Most people on the street, go talk to them, they'll say, no, nothing controls me. I control everything that's going on with me. And I'm here to say, well, from the evidence looked around and being observed, it does not seem like that. It seems like there is some high level control going on. That's what that's the evidence. And that's just something to share at the county board table. And the county board table isn't just down in the courtroom. It's where anybody wants to step up and rise up and share something no matter where the fuck they are. Which should be the normal societal expectation. But it's stuck on the abusive. Everything's got to be on a schedule, and it's got to be under someone else's control. And if something is being said outside the control, well, then it gets shut down.
Hey, Russell.
Yeah.
Hey, I got
Company coming over?
little girls.
Oh, little girls?
They don't know the F word, so.
Well, I'll put as much effort on it. Some things might slip out, you know.
I know, yeah. Who are you talking to over there?
I'm on YouTube.
Oh, got it. I thought you were just talking to yourself all the time.
Oh, that too. Plus that too, because I'm an expresser, singer and auditor, just expression.
It is nice to have some peace and quiet.
Yeah, I know.
So.
Yeah, the bad habit tends to.
All good. Just remember, I moved here and I'm alone, and I kind of like it a little quiet.
Yeah, I assume that. I assume everybody likes it like that.
Yeah, we do. And I'm like, what do I do? Blast my music louder than peaceful when I'm doing garden work. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is nice to have those little reminders,
What?
It is nice to have them reminders.
Yeah, if you don't mind me reminding you, because I can hear you in my house sometimes, and I'm like, dude,
Yeah,
a little bit of quiet.
as far as I'm concerned, that's the best thing. Everyone, for saying what they want to say too, and
Totally.
yeah.
Hey, I would like it 100% quiet all the time, so we can meet somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, I'm a loud fucker. That's the bad habit in me too. So yeah.
You know what? I can't do anything about it because you're on your own property. But if you don't mind just not always yelling "fuck" if you're talking, that'd be great.
Yeah, it's the fuck word that's getting you.
It is.
'Cause
It's jarring. I've been in some relationships where you kind of trigger me a little bit with your aggressive.
Yeah.
Thing, and
Yeah.
I don't know that I would have moved here had I known that.
Exactly.
So if you don't mind just listening to me a little bit, would be awesome.
Oh yeah, I'm all on it. I'm on it. Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Yeah, that was kind of cool. That was the neighbor over there. She said she expressed herself. She had to say, "Oh, the F word." It kind of gets her. Plus, she got young kids that come over and visit and stuff like that, and she's been feeling that yeah. Just to bring it up might be a hard thing, but she finally decided to bring it up. Which, could be the most wonderful thing. Because, we all live together and, we all like to express. And sometimes the bully likes to rise up and say, no, I gotta have my way. That would be the bully actor, though. So this gets right back to the subject matter. So anyway, so yeah, it is nice. It's the same energy when a police officer comes to the house and they say, well, we just got a complaint. And then every time the police officer comes to the house, I always say to the police officers, I say, yeah, I shall be having some adjustments. And then they kind of smile at me, and then they walk off. Because they know what it's like. They know what it's like. But, you know. So it's the same idea. Anyone rising up and speaking up is just the same as a police officer showing up. You know, it's kind of a deflating, energy deflating, you know, it's kind of like the mother energy that rises up when the bully energy starts to get too active, or the acting bully energy, the societal bully energy, it gets a little bit, overwhelming. And so the neighbor, she was being the mother energy to the bully acting energy that was coming up out of me. And it comes out a lot. It's been coming out a long time, many years here in the backyard. But also at the same time, there's a good side to it. So, but then there's an overuse. But then that's the bad habit too. Then I always like to say this too. There's also the remote control aspect. Although there is the individual struggle within, there's also the influence from without. And this gets right back on cue and on subject. But remember, the priority to today's subject is the word F that rhymes with suck. It's not quite the same word, but suck is what happens with a child that's brought to the motherly breast, from which most of the children have been stripped off the breast where they would suck. Whereas, since how society has been taught through the universities that we shouldn't be saying that word uck, especially with the word F, because, that is actually a control mechanism. It's a control mechanism. But not only that, so the neighbor mentioned F that rhymes with suck and the noise. So there was two things. The priority was on the word F though, because from the way she was raised and stuff like that, it's a trigger point for her. A trigger point, and of course that's quite that's quite common. That's quite common. In today's bully acting society, that's quite common. Because, coming from the girl energy, it has been the king energy that has been stepping all over the queen energy, especially in combination with the word F that rhymes with suck. The word F that rhymes with suck. Because the king would come over to the queen and start yelling at the queen, especially with the F word, and especially if the king was totally in control of everything with the queen, would demand that the queen lay down to actually perform another definition attached to that F word that rhymes with suck. Suckling, the breast or the tits. On the farm they call it the tits. On the cows they're called tits. In the old days they were called tits. But even to see that word, because the pharmaceuticals came in, or the Bonneville, the Bull Dyke Warrior actor came in and started overtaking all the farms. Started overtaking all the farms, and started stripping everyone from living, naturally with the land. Which in the old days they used to call it the tits on the cows, or the tits on the, and da-da-da. But the king has become, or the bully, warrior, gay, bull dyke, lesbian, federal Bonneville Dam warrior now. The actor acting like it, that's controlling the hospitals through all the birth certificate stealing, credit stealing to the bankruptcy and all that. But that, the society... The bull dyke warrior wants to control language too. Wants to control the language because it all comes down to self-expression. That's really what it all comes down to. So there is a delicate edge or a balancing beam to walk on, a tightrope to walk on when dealing with all the imbalance in the society because of both outside influence and both the inside influence. There's the remote control aspect and control from outside forces. And then there's also the inner bully actor inside also. So, anyway. So, the number one priority that the neighbor brought up was the F word that sounds like suckle, which is, mainly related to the motherly breasts. And then from that aspect, there is the noise that comes out of this yard, this particular yard, or this particular place, which gets to be, and she said if she would have known this, she would have never moved here. Which, that would be kind of like knowing that someone's moving in next to a musician. And not many people like to live next to musicians because it's loud. And predominantly musicians that are on the auditing side, exposing what's going on in society or the universe, all as a realm. Which on the bully actor side, through the counties and the states and the governments and stuff like that, they're always wanting to keep that information from being spread out so that people start to wake up. Although it's been cramped down like this for so long that the bully actor has realized that it's locked his she has locked herself in a box with the societal expectations that are going on now, and that anything that's tipping the scale to expose everything could ignite wars, fights, wars, arguments, all kinds of stuff. Which in a way, she kind of likes it that way, because that kind of like puts it more on, her side to keep controlling the society this way. Which, on the other side, on the motherly side kind of looks at it and says, well, there does need to be equality going on on the bigger picture, exposing everything. And then also, on the smaller picture, there also needs to be equality going on, living neighbor to neighbor to neighbor to neighbor. Although, because of the bully energy, acting energy that's been so dominant, stepping out the expression, it's only natural that when things get stepped on so much that they rise up with great sound and say, "Get off me! Get off me! I'm tired of this bully acting society stepping on me all the time." And so it's a great predicament. It's quite a great predicament to where one story is shared and another story is shared and another story is shared and another story is shared. And the great predicament is, things happen as stories are shared, and things are in consideration as stories are shared, and things are this as stories are shared, and things are that as stories are shared. However, and the greatest outcome looking on it on the grand picture, sharing, just everyone sharing everything. if everything was shared, I think, without having to say I think, if everything was shared, then there probably wouldn't be all this, it's mine, bend down and pay me a tax and do what I tell you to do and say what I tell you to say situation. If everything was shared equally, and so, here living neighbor to neighbor, of course, peace is the one thing that's cherished the most as far as being shared. I need to enjoy some peace, or some neighbors need to enjoy peace because they spent a lot of time, or had a lot of history or whatever with no peace, and the flat out matter is they just want some peace and quiet. a neighbor would want peace and quiet. And so, coming down to that, it's like, yeah, that's, of course. Everyone loves having peace and quiet, to be able to share equally the peace and the quiet. Just as, everyone probably would rather have society being run in a more equitable sharing way, where all the resources were shared. And that includes no one having to tell someone else what to do and saying, you need to get up and be here at work and work for me from 5 till 5 in the morning till 10 at night and all that stuff. More of a sharing equality atmosphere where no one's going around telling everybody what to do and expect them to live according to their ways. If everything was shared peace and quietly, from a greater perspective. I'm just sharing a perspective on it. And so, realizing, it's quite a predicament. It's quite a predicament becoming conscious. It's quite a predicament becoming conscious with what's going on, with what seems to be going on in the universe. Observing what's going on in the universe. It's quite a predicament becoming conscious. This existence becoming, it's quite a predicament. It's quite a debacle. Predicament is just a word for something that's astounding. It's or a knot. Things seem to have been tied into a great knot. It's really quite it sucks not having to be able to enjoy peace. It sucks having wars all over the earth. It sucks having someone else going around saying, I own the land, so you got to pay me taxes. And kiss my ring, do what I tell you to do. And go get a job, or else I'm going to set you on fire out on the street and let your feet rot. That sucks. It's quite a predicament. Becoming conscious to what's really going on. From all perspectives, from great grand mountaintop perspectives to just neighbor to neighbor perspectives, from planet to planet, galaxy to galaxy perspectives, to neighbor to neighbor. That would be the old Illuminati information, as above, so below. What's going on inside is also going on outside. What's going on outside is also going on inside. What's going on and greater planet to planet is going on neighbor to neighbor, spouse to spouse, in the house, child to child. It's quite a predicament to see that, to become conscious with the old Illuminati Mason, the Masons Lodge across from Autzen Stadium over here in Eugene, Oregon. All right, next to the Boy Scout Club. Across from the Gladiator football, King rule, we're going to beat someone up. Societal competition, you better do what I tell you to do, and it's the best survive. And if you're weak, well, tough for you. You get to go out on the street then. You're fired. You don't fit in, you're fired. You're speaking up in the workplace, well, you're fired. Or, if we talk to you and say, could you keep it down? Could you keep it down? And it doesn't be kept down, then you're fired anyway. Because the cop showed up and said, you need to keep it down. Well, of course, that's the king energy. Of course he wants it to be kept down. Otherwise, his kingdom is in jeopardy if the information keeps going and spreading rapidly throughout the town. Then all of a sudden the queen energy rises and becomes equal with the king. Now the king has to look around and say, oh my God, I guess as hard as I tried, as much as a bully actor that I've been, I must confess now that I have been a bully actor. And it really isn't until he realizes when the queen energy has spread throughout the town and throughout the state and the nation and the planet and the galaxy, and it spreads throughout the universe, when the universal abusive bully king ET, extraterrestrial smartphone home, I like to call it. It likes to be the, the description. When the queen energy that rises with superseding, leaning energy, exposing energy, when that energy rises up, then the child, the bully acting child, king energy, that's, predominantly today run behind the scenes by a bull dyke lesbian, which is the warrior, the king warrior energy to the girl. That's the yang energy in the yin. Predominantly yang with the yin. That's out of balance. And of course, the word balance has to do with the word debt or dues. Equality is seems the open word here, bringing things to equality between yin and yang. Not a balance between yin and yang, because in the society, the way it's run today, everything's based on slave paper, fake money, fake value stolen from the children, which expresses itself, which the bully bull dyke has created society to shut down. But the money part, the word balance is the word you owe me. There needs to be a balance here, because that's the tax collector that says we have a balance on the books. In other words, you need to pay the tax so we can put a zero in here for the balance, to balance the books. But that word balance has been used in society to think that it's a great thing, as in equality. And it's not. In the king's legal abusive accounting system, the word balance is when the king comes out and says, you owe me, queen energy. That's the tax collection. That's you've got to pay for everything on the shelf that we created. That's the word balance that consciousness is not fully risen to. What balance actually is. And they're going through the town, everyone's going through the town in their daily conversation saying, God, it sure would be nice to have balance around here. And the king is not going to say a word. The tax collector isn't going to say a word, because at the high elite Illuminati Freemason levels on the dark side, they realize that this is a celebration to their cause. When everyone in the town is going around talking about we need to have balance, because that's triggering subconsciously in the brain. Subconsciously, that word balance is in the dictionary, Webster's dictionary, which the universities wrote, through the Jesuits, the military, the black pope that's running the white pope. There's definitions attached to that word balance. And subconsciously, it starts to subliminally trigger all these programs inside the girl energy, which is the body, to want to go throughout the town and work for someone else, to earn money, to pay a tax, to kiss the ring to the king energy, the abusive king energy. I'm not saying that the king energy is all bad. The abusive part, and stuck in the mud with it. That's the audit here that's being expressed. Here in the backyard, neighbor to neighbor, town to town meeting to town meeting, county to counties speaking together, because every county is a neighbor to each other. Just as state to state, every state is a neighbor to each other. All right, it's the same thing in the neighborhoods. It goes from the smallest, which is the Illuminati expression, the Illuminati, the compass, and the G-square. Hidden knowledge. The word Illuminati means hidden knowledge. The occult knowledge, which is the private knowledge, which is different from the public king knowledge. The private is the queen energy in today's time. So, in the Illuminati realms, as above, so below. In other words, as it is from neighbor to neighbor, so it is from city to city, are neighbors. So it is county to county are neighbors. So it is state to state are neighbors. So it is country to country are neighbors. So it is planet to planet are neighbors. So it is galaxy to galaxies are neighbors. So it is universe to universe are neighbors. As above, and this gets into the old ancient Jesus astrology Bible interpretation. As above, so below. In other words, as it is at the smallest level, so it is at the largest level. And then it goes the inverse. As it is, everything is in the larger level, so it is at the smaller level. And so, the audit comes up and says there needs to be equality. Equality between what's going on at the larger outside level with what's going on with the smaller inside level. And it's the same concept or the same universal principle, neighbor to neighbor. There's the neighbor on the outside, and then on the inside, there's the one on the other side of the fence, the other neighbor. And sometimes there's multiple neighbors all around. A neighbor that audits or expresses what is going or expresses the universal laws or the queen energy, especially in a society that's abusively king dominant, that says you need to do exactly what I tell you to do and exactly what I tell you to say, and you can only say this and you can only say this. And so, but comprehending and seeing all that for what it is, it's quite a debacle. It's quite a predicament to become conscious that this is going on with existence as a story to consider. It's just information that's being shared as a lawful sheriff shares information, as a lawful sheriff raises a story into the air, as a lawful sheriff raises a radio program on the radio. Lawfully, which is different from legal, because in the legal realms, predominantly, I'm just saying, in the king legal realm, predominantly on the abusive actor side, it's predominantly, you can only radio what we allow you to radio. And if you don't, then then of course here comes the predicament. That's the great predicament. So what's it gonna be? Is it gonna be a war, or is it gonna be a compromise as the king energy realizes that the queen energy is rising up naturally and saying, hey, get off me. I'm tired of being stepped on. It's quite the predicament, because that now triggers the war. That triggers the stinger. That's the hospital stinger that all these mask mandates were coming forth. All the vaccines. Okay, this is the private maritime law, or the queen energy, that's been rising across the earth, that the king energy is having the hardest time with. And so it ticks him off, and he brings out his spider stinger and his mask and says, this is a gag order. You need to shut up. You can't say this. You can't be saying that. And if you keep talking, we're going to put you in a straitjacket, and we're going to put you in this bed here, and we're going to pump you full of our vaccine. It's going to be mandatory vaccine, whether you like it or not, sucker. You want to keep rising up, queen energy? Okay, this is the predicament. This is becoming conscious to what's going on in existence. There are two energies going on. There's the king and the queen. And there's a third one called the child. But predominantly, in this time, it's been the king energy that's been ruling everything. In this time, although in past times the queen energy has been ruling, and it's been flip-flopping back and forth. But in today's time, it's the king energy, which is run from behind the scenes That's the black Jesuit Pope out of the Vatican on the bull dyke gay lesbian side, hiding behind the men, because this is what they do. And in the matriarchal times, the man learned to hide behind the woman and control everything. The gay man. But in today's time, it's quite the predicament. Becoming conscious with this idea that's being shared that there could be a bull dyke bully warrior state nanny. And even that word is a clue. The state nanny is going around and it's having the hardest time, that the queen energy is rising, that's the mother energy, is rising up to help the little boy that's stuck on Hollywood acting abuse with his system that he's created with all the hospitals, slave jobs, and tax collecting, and bow down, do what I tell you to do. It's quite the predicament when the queen energy, the lawful sheriff, rises up beside the legal sheriff. It's quite the predicament. It's quite a delicate situation. It's very consciousness provoking. It's very way king or way queen. It's very way queen as it's different than the word way king that celebrates the king energy, the abusive Hollywood actor king energy. It's quite way queen. Quite eye-opening. Consciousness starts to wake with a Q at the end of the word instead of a K. Wake with a Q. And this gets all into the QAnon movement with Trump. The Q movement. And I'm not celebrating the Q movement. I'm just saying it is a step which can go both ways, but it is a step in the queen energy. That's all it is. And at any time it could go lopsided any time. At any time it could fall off the wagon, and it could become the king energy, once again the king energy disguised as the queen. And this is called fake media. This is called getting ahead of the narrative. This is what fake media does. They twist stuff to keep their own system, to keep it alive and going and dominating. And I'm just here to say, just consider this information. This is information to be considered. That usually is not allowed down at the county meeting. The king that still controls the county meetings, they don't want to hear this stuff. And it has to come from the neighborhood backyard or the front yard or over the intercom on a music night or whatever. That's the only way it's going to get out. It ain't going to get out in town because it's going to be quickly shut down. Although some movements have strength to stay there. But predominantly, the queen energy comes straight from the smallest private part. From the smallest private, that's the private maritime. That is the queen energy. It starts off and it gains strength from the private, especially when there is a lien position, a lawful lien position in a neighborhood. In a neighborhood, especially. This gets all into the private maritime law with affidavits that rebut the assumed state nanny king, acting child, bully, bull dyke, assumptive jurisdiction, that there is no contract, and all the contracts in place are assumed, and it's fraud. Because there's no full disclosure what's really going on with the bankruptcy and the creditor positions through them hospitals, all that information. But it's quite a predicament. It's quite a delicate situation here when as the queen energy is rising with superseding energy. Superseding, because that's what the private maritime law, which King Henry VIII brought forth publicly for the first time with the daughter, Queen Elizabeth I, because he could not sire a military son. And it was his father, King Henry VII, that started the paperwork process. Otherwise, a contracting private military power. This is private military power. That's what the affidavits are. They are private military power, folks, which is the queen energy that's been stepped on. And the universal queen energy is the motherly energy that is very ingenious. And she's been around the block, and she knows just exactly what needs to happen to come forth to raise a stuck-in-the-mud bully child. A universal child that's stuck in the mud. A universal child that's stuck in the mud. The mother is very ingenious. The universal mother has been around the block. And that is the information that's being triumphed from the rooftop, triumphed from the backyard, triumphed from the front yard, triumphed from the most private position. The most private position is being triumphed. It's being announced. It's being audited. And it is quite the debacle. It's quite a predicament for the king energy to have to be publicly exposed. Little bits at a time. Little bits at a time. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy on both sides. It's not easy being a mother to a child that needs help, that's locked itself in a box, a prison box, and it can't get out. It's not easy for a mother to be a mother with this child Hollywood abusive actor that is the most volatile animal, the most volatile animal, the most volatile creation, or whatever one wants to call it, the most violent, volatile. It's not easy dealing. The picture. There's a wonderful picture in the universal picture. Kind of goes like this. It's not easy to go out into the plains and the forest where the big top of the chain predators are. The big cats. It's not easy to go out there and learn how to get along with a big cat. Especially a big cat that's an abusive bully and stuck in the mud with it. And the mother shows up. And the cat realizes that the mother energy has shown up. Now the cat's wondering, what shall I do now? Because all eyes are upon me. All the rest of the lion pride are watching the Lion King. All the rest of the big tigers are watching the big Tiger King. Rocky Balboa, Eye of the Tiger King. When the tigress and the lioness shows up and starts to announce what she sees going on in the kingdom. And then we get down to the next big cat that's out there. That would be the jaguar. And that's the military. The JAG, Judge Advocate General. The jaguar, which is the American cat, the big cat. The lion's Africa. The tiger is Asia. America is the jaguar. That is the military cat. And it is the one that has the most bite-forcing crush that there is. Out bite force. The jaws are stronger in American cat than they are in the African cat and in the Asian cat. That's the military cat, the jaguar. It's not easy when the mother shows up. the mother energy shows up with the Jaguar King. That's the military king. It's not easy. It's quite a predicament, quite a debacle. It's quite a delicate situation. When the king no, I'm not saying the king energy. I'm just saying the abusive, stuck in the mud used to the king energy. To keep that perspective all the time. It's the abusive, stuck in the mud king energy. So the picture is being painted, the picture is being put into the air that, a wonderful picture is, it's not easy to live out on the land where the big cat is at, especially the big abusive stuck in the mud bully cat, and to be the mother to the bully child. It's not easy being the mother to the bully societal king that's hiding, that behind the scenes is being run by a state nanny. That word right there, the nanny, should be the dead giveaway. It's coming straight out of the hospitals, because publicly everyone across the whole world knows that it was the hospital doctor that told all the presidents of all nations to shut up. And if you don't shut up, we're going to stick you with a needle. It should be quite evident and should be quite conscious, but obviously it's not very conscious. Obviously it's not very conscious. But also, obviously, consciousness is rising, though. It is rising. The queen energy, or the consciousness, is slowly rising. And it's quite a predicament that when the queen gets on a stride, when she's on a stride and she speaks up sometimes louder than usual, that's especially hard for the abusive king energy. And the reason why it's hard is because the little child is now all eyes and on the village are on the child, and the child's kind of feeling funny in the midst of all its bullyism stuck in the mud with it. The little kid's just feeling kind of not used to that. It's kind of like being on stage. All of a sudden, the little child is on stage in front of everyone. And all of a sudden, the insecurity becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. It's not easy for the little child bully. Big predator, cat king, tax collector, hospital doctor, gag order, stinger needle, spider, FBI, CIA, abusive side. It's not easy for all that energy to be exposed for what it really is. It's quite a delicate situation as the universal queen mother energy from the lawful side, private lawful, deep private lawful side, is arising. And the mother is here to provide comfort for the little abusive mud-stuck child. Comfort, and to help the child out of the box, the prison planet box, which it locked itself into. And that's quite evidence when the sheriff comes knocking on the door. He isn't knocking to say you need to come out of the house. The knock is actually a big cover-up for, Mommy, I'm in my bedroom. I'm locked myself into bedroom. I want out. That's what the knock really is. But consciousness is still rising to be able to see what the legal sheriff knock really is. Consciousness is still rising. And as the legal sheriff feels more and more exposed, he tends to throw fits. And it ain't no different from a baby throwing a fit with a mother. And the baby will bite the nipple. The baby will smack the nipple. The baby will smack mother in the face. when the mother tells the baby, ow, that hurts. It's natural when a baby bites the nipple. Ow, that hurts. And then the little baby feels threatened because mother expressed herself and said, ow, that hurts. Well, anything that hurts, naturally, there's going to be words come out that's going to be, ow. That's natural. That's natural. So at the same time as the mother says, ow, that hurt. God, that hurt. Be gentle with that nipple, son. Be gentle. Okay, that's the love. But at the same time, as the mother expresses herself and says, ow, I much prefer this. I much prefer gentle sucking. At the same time, the little bully child that's stuck in the mud with bulliness gets offended. And he throws a fit. And so all these ice storms going on across the country I'm here to say, is nothing but the child throwing a fit. Because mother said, ow, that hurts. And that's what I call becoming conscious at the grand Illuminati Mason Jason level. As above, so below. All right. This is going to be uploaded on YouTube. Later.